If you're on the hunt for that charming storybook bungalow or Tudor style home here in the Atlanta area, one neighborhood that flies a little under the radar is the neighborhood of Lake Claire. I'm going to show you around this neighborhood, tell you what to expect to pay in this neighborhood, show you everything that there is to do in this neighborhood, so stay tuned. Hey you guys, my name is Molly and welcome back to my channel where I talk all things living here in the Atlanta area. And hey, if you're moving here, you need some help, don't know where to start, reach out to me. I am a real estate agent. This is what I do, and I'm making these videos for you to help you out and figure out where to live. So my contact information is down in that comment section. So before I get going, let me put up Lake Claire on a map so you can see exactly where it's at. It is an itty bitty Intown Atlanta neighborhood. It's just about 5 miles east of the Midtown area. Now drive times to get to some of your main points of interest here in the city. So to get over to Midtown, that's going to be about 15 minutes. Buckhead is about 20 to 30 minutes, and the airport can be anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes. But as always, if there is you're traveling during those peak rush hour times, you could add on 15 to 20-25 minutes. I should also mention that if you are working over at Emory, this is a hop, skip, and a jump away. It's just about 11 minutes, so very short, easy drive there. So Lake Claire, now it is just a darling little neighborhood. If you are into those charming bungalows, especially brick Tudor style homes, there are plenty of those in this neighborhood. Now I always kind of say Lake Claire is a great alternative if you are striking out in Virginia Highland, Morningside, Inman Park, which are very popular neighborhoods to live in, but man, it gets expensive. Now Lake Claire is a little bit cheaper, but the prices have been creeping up here in the past several years, and it is getting more expensive to get those charming bungalows. And sometimes you're going to pay a lot and you're not going to get the perfect layout, and they're still going to be a little quirky. But cute neighborhood, a lot of families live here. I'll talk about schools here in a bit, but I kind of compare Lake Claire to, it's like a cousin of Candler Park. It is right next door to Candler Park, so you can kind of hang out over at Candler Park for some restaurants and that kind of thing. And that is one thing that is lacking here in Lake Claire. There are not like restaurants around here, coffee shops that you can walk to. Well, you sort of can, but they're just not like right there on the corner. So that is the one thing that Lake Claire does not have. It doesn't have a lot of commercial stuff that you can walk to. Great neighborhood to walk around in, and luckily it is very close by to a lot of other fun neighborhoods. You have Candler Park, you've got Kirkwood, and Druid Hills is just north of here. And if you want to get over to the city of Decatur, this is just about 2 miles away. So you can go to a lot of restaurants not too far away. You could probably just hop on a bike and get there if you wanted to, or drive your car, of course. So I'm going to start out walking a few of these streets and show you a few home examples, and then I'm going to head over to their cute little adorable park. And there is a bee swarming right by me. Okay, so what does it cost to live in Lake Claire? So the average price for a single family home is over $1 million now. It's $1,034,000. On the low end for a 2-2, you could probably get something in that $600K price range. But if you are looking kind of for a 4-3 with 2,500 square feet, yeah, you'll be paying just over that $1 million mark. Now for a larger home that is, a newer build, you're going to be paying anywhere from that $1.5 to $1.8 million range. And I'd say you can find some 3-2s, in that $800,000 to $900,000 range. But I will say homes here do go quick. The average days on market right now is only 7 days. So if you want a home in here, you better snatch it up fast, because there are bidding wars going on here. There's just not a lot of inventory to choose from, and it's just a highly desirable neighborhood because you can still get a bungalow here just under $1 million, or maybe just slightly above $1 million, which, if you go into Virginia Highland, for an example, you're going to get a fixer-upper bungalow probably in that $1 million to $1.2 range. So this is definitely a lot better of a price point compared to some other popular neighborhoods. Now, actually, I just walked by one home example, so I'm going to circle back and show you a quick home example of something in that average price point range. So if you love a good Tudor, this is one that's been a little bit renovated. It has the painted brick on the exterior, but this is a 3-2, just over 2,000 square feet, and it sold for $1 million. It was listed for $895,000, so that just goes to show you how competitive it can be here in this neighborhood. It does have a screened-in porch in the back. It has the arched ceilings in the primary suite, which is upstairs, so you do a little bit of the ducking kind of thing going on. It does have a little bit of a choppier layout, closed off kitchen. I would say the finishes, they're good. They're not like over the top, you know, latest and greatest, but that's what you'll get here for that $1 million range. And again, remember, these are a lot of older homes, 1920, 1930 homes, and they were built with choppy layouts. So unless you have went in and done some kind of updates to make the flow better, they can still be choppy. But just remember this, the better the layout, the better it flows, well, you're gonna be paying more for that. I'm telling you guys, if you are into Tudor homes, this neighborhood has tons of them. I just love walking around these streets. Now, one thing I will caution you about in Lake Claire is it's very hilly. I'm actually walking in a couple of streets here that is a little bit more flat, but for the most part, Lake Claire can be very, very hilly. So if you are a runner or a walker, just be prepared for some of those hills. Now, I mentioned that Lake Claire is a family-friendly neighborhood, and that is no lie. There are a lot of kids that live here. If you're wondering about schools, the schools that are zoned to this neighborhood, they are all very highly ranked, and those schools are going to be Maryland Elementary. That's located just right next door over in the Candler Park area. And then we have Howard Middle School and Midtown High School. Now, I'm going to keep on walking around here and around the corner and go around a few more corners, and I will take you to the park that is here in this neighborhood. It is super sweet, so stay tuned. Okay, it never fails. Every time I'm trying to make a video, there's either dump trucks or leaf blowers, and that's going on right now. Is we've got some leaf blowers making this park pretty, but I'm over in Lake Claire Park. This is just off of Lakeshore Drive, or is it Avenue? I don't know. Either way, I will say this park, while there's not a lot of people here right now, because I'm filming this on a Tuesday before noon, just wait until a Saturday or a Sunday. This is going to be birthday party central. A lot of birthday parties happen over here. I've thrown some birthday parties for my kids here, and there's just going to be kids swarming this playground. It's a great little playground with some rubber material on the bottom and swings and all the slides and all that good stuff. And you have this giant field, so you'll see kids playing soccer. And there is a tennis court up there. You'll hear people playing tennis or pickleball in the evening. So this is a great spot if you are bringing your kids for a play date or just getting out to get some wiggles. A lot of kids from different neighborhoods come and play in this park, so it's a popular spot. Now, I'm gonna keep on going. Thank the Lord, it's finally done the noise, but hopefully you could hear all of what I was saying there. But I'm gonna pop on out on a street here and show you some more home options that are a little bit newer. All right, so I cut through a little walking trail off of McClendon and came into this planned subdivision called Sutherland Place. If you like the charm but you want a newer home, this is one option for you that is here in Lake Claire. It's just a small little community. It was built back in the early 2000s, so like 2003 to 2005. And here you're going to get these craftsman style homes ranging anywhere from 3-bedroom up to 5-bedroom homes that, again, price point for something smaller in the lower 900s, and these can go up to 1.35, maybe a little bit more if it's more updated. This was a John Willis subdivision and build, so just really lovely homes. You're not going to get huge yards with these, but again, you can just walk over to that Lake Claire Park. It is not that far away. Another thing in this subdivision is that right here, this building, these are condos. So if you are wanting just a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom condo in a nice setting, this could be an option. Now, there aren't a lot of condos in Lake Claire. In fact, the average price for a condo in Lake Claire is $392,000, and primarily they are going to be in this building, the Sutherland Place loft building. Townhomes, which I'll get to here in a second, the average price for a townhome is $867,000. But here at this Sutherland Place loft, you can get a 1-bedroom for about $359,000, and a 2-bedroom, it can be around $450,000 up to $500,000. And even their 1-bedrooms are pretty sizable. You'll get 1,100 square feet. So there you go. This is just a really cute community. Lots of tree-lined streets. That's what I love about this little neighborhood. But if you want something a little bit more new, something Tuscany villa feel, well, I got your back. Let me show you that next. Now, if you're on the hunt for a townhome with a little bit more pizzazz, this is a really cute, it reminds me of a French villa kind of community. This was built by Hedgewood Homes back in 2020, and this is only 46 units, and these are townhomes, and they just have the most beautiful aesthetic around here. These will range anywhere from a 2-bedroom, 2-bath for about $580,000, and they can go all the way up to a 4-bedroom, 3.5-bath for $1.1 million. It's funny, I watched my old video that I did for Lake Claire. This was many years ago, and yes, I wanted to make a new video, an updated version of Lake Claire, and I think the highest priced home here at the time was like $700,000. So these are really quality built townhomes, high-end finishes. They have a real hardwoods, no LVP, so beautiful homes, and they are right on the edge of the Lake Claire neighborhood. They do run right next to DeKalb Avenue, which is a very busy road. I'll show you more of that here in a little bit, but just keep in mind that you're going to have the MARTA line running by. There's going to be trains coming by. So depending on where your home is located, you could hear a little bit more of that MARTA noise. I should mention that the HOA is very low at $185 a month, just because there are no amenities in this Sutherland complex. But speaking of amenities, there is one amenity here in Lake Claire that I do want to tell you about. If you want a pool, well, let me just cruise through this neighborhood. I'll show you how close it is to this little cluster of townhomes. Now I have some good news and bad news. The good news is there is a pool in the Lake Claire neighborhood. The bad news is that it is a private membership, and here's the even worse news is that there is a very, very long wait list. Okay, if you're hearing a lot of noise behind me, I think they might be chopping down a tree or something, so bear with me on the noise here. But yeah, so cute little pool. I mean, it's nothing spectacular, but it's just a convenient spot. If you live in Lake Claire, you can hop over here, especially if you live in this little Sutherland Village area I just showed you. If you were able to get into this pool, this would be a very convenient pool for you. But like I said, very, very long wait list. In fact, I helped a couple buy a home in Lake Claire, and I think they lived in that home 4 or 5 years before we ended up selling it. And right as we were getting ready to sell it, that's when they got the notification that they were at the top of the list and they could join the Lake Claire pool. So I'm telling you, it's a very long wait list. And you do not have to live in Lake Claire to be a member of the Lake Claire pool, but I think you do get some priority. So that's the scoop on the pool situation. Now, this backs up right next to DeKalb Avenue. And I want to walk you out on DeKalb Avenue so you could see what that looks like, because there are a lot of more townhomes along DeKalb Avenue. And so it's just kind of, you know, something you should know, that if you see a townhome on DeKalb Avenue, I know sometimes the prices look good, the townhome looks good, or it could be a single family home as well. But the catch is it's on DeKalb Avenue, it's a busier road, so you have to be comfortable with that. Now, as I mentioned, DeKalb Avenue is a very busy road. It is a very convenient road, though, if you are trying to pop out of the neighborhood, get over to I-75, I-85, you can take this down into the downtown area, essentially. So it is a nice kind of quick road, but if you live on DeKalb Avenue, you're going to hear the traffic noise going through. And like I said, right across the street, there is the train. There is the MARTA line that's going through, so you will hear that kind of noise. Now, if that doesn't bother you, then no big deal, but some people don't want to live on a busy street. Let me know in the comments, would you live on a busy street for the right price, that is? So like I said, you're gonna find a lot of townhomes right along here, and I would say they range anywhere in that mid 500 range up into the upper 600K price point. But yeah, DeKalb Avenue, it's a busy, noisy road. You guys, I think this is going to be the video with the most background noise, because now I've got like a big truck trying to unload a dumpster. Anyway, I wanted to show you an example of a newer build home in the Lake Claire area, and it's right behind me here, this beautiful white home. It's a 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath with a 1-bedroom, 1-bath carriage house. It is, you know, beautiful inside. It has the big open kitchen with the big island. It has a butler's pantry, just very timeless design. But it sold for $1.425 million, 3,500 square feet. So that's kind of an example of what you would pay for something a little bit newer. One thing I just have to compare it again, you know, to a Morningside, Virginia Highland, like these bigger, newer craftsman style homes in Virginia Highland, Morningside, you're going to be paying well over $2 million. So Lake Claire is a much better value, but of course the trade-off is, you know, it's a little underwhelming when it comes to commercial things to do like that. It's really just more of a friendly, nice neighborhood. Now, one thing I want to warn you about if you are looking at homes in Lake Claire, McClendon Avenue, that is another fairly busier road, not like DeKalb Avenue, but it is kind of a main road to get you east and west in this neighborhood. So I'm walking on it right now. It doesn't sound very busy because it's just kind of a low point in the day, but trust me, at certain points of the day, this will be a lot more busy. So if you do not like living on a main road, or you see a house and the price seems a lot more attractive than the other homes in this neighborhood, that's probably the reason why it's on McClendon Avenue. Okay, for another home example, this is right behind me. It's kind of hard to see because there's trees kind of blocking the view, so I tried to get a couple shots so you could see what it looks like. But this is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, just over 1,300 square feet. This sold for $693,500, okay? So if you are thinking you're gonna find something here in the 500K or low 600K price point, I mean, this was only a 2-bedroom, it wasn't even a 3-bedroom. So I'd say in the 600s, upper 600s, you're gonna get a 2-bedroom or maybe a 3-bedroom, 1-bath. But otherwise, you're gonna have to up your budget to find a bigger single family home. And remember that a lot of these homes, the more attractive the price, there's probably some kind of catch because these homes can be a little quirky. Now this one, I believe, has an alley in the back, so there is some off-street parking in the back of the house. But again, that's something to remember. We are in Intown Atlanta, and a lot of these older homes do not have garages. They are going to have a tandem driveway or maybe a carport. Sorry, I'm watching where I'm walking here because this sidewalk is a little treacherous, but yeah. Unless you're finding a newer built home or a renovated home, there is not going to be a garage. My golden rule of thumb is the more attractive the home price is, the more quirks and funkiness that home might have. So just remember that. Now I will say, as I move more eastward towards Candler Park, it turns less Tudor style and more bungalow and craftsman style. But a couple housekeeping items, you know, where do you do your grocery shopping if you live over in Lake Claire? Honestly, I think the easiest place to go is over in that Edgewood Retail Shopping Center. There is a Kroger and a Target. If you want a Publix, it's kind of either or. You could go over into Decatur, or you could go over into off of Ponce there in the Ponce Highland area. Those are going to be your closest Publix stores. And if you're wondering about public transportation for MARTA stations, it really kind of depends on where you live in Lake Claire. If you're closer on the eastern side, you're going to want to hit the Edgewood Candler Park station, but if you're on the western side of the Lake Claire area, you're probably going to want to go over to the East Lake MARTA station. But there's a couple stations kind of on either end of this neighborhood. Okay, so I'm going to finish up my video by walking around to, you know, the closest place to go grab something to eat would be over in Candler Park right next door. So again, if you live closer on the eastern side of Lake Claire, it's a super easy walk over to grab something to eat over in the Candler Park area. And by the way, if you don't know much about Candler Park, go watch that up on my channel. You can search it for it and you can find all the information about Candler Park. That's another great alternative option that has a very similar feel. Like I said, Lake Claire is like the cousin to Candler Park. But okay, let's go over pros and cons of living in Lake Claire. Okay, so on my pro side of living in Lake Claire, you're going to get charming homes. I think that is undeniable, and you saw that throughout this video. You also get a very quiet neighborhood, so if that's something you're into, that could be seen as a pro or maybe a con. It just depends on your personality type. You're close to transportation and the MARTA rail, as I mentioned. The schools are top notch, so that is something that is also great. And you also get a very community feel. I mean, all the community really comes together, and it's just like a cool, sweet neighborhood. And as for the cons of a Lake Claire, it is going to be a competitive situation if you're looking for a home in this neighborhood. As I mentioned, 7 days on the market is the average right now, so homes do sell very quickly. And I would say a con is there's just really not a lot of commercial nightlife kind of things going on here. You're gonna have to walk a little ways, but at least you're not having to go too far. And then again, it's just not as walkable in terms of walking to that coffee shop, but really that just kind of depends on where you live in Lake Claire. Like I said, if you live on the eastern side, you're going to be able to walk over to some shops, which I'm going to approach here in just a second, but it's just not going to have as much of a walkable feel as, you know, Inman Park, Old Fourth Ward, that kind of thing. Okay, let me head down the street here, and I'm going to show you the closest thing that you can walk to if you do live in Lake Claire, depending on where you live. It's just right here off of Clifton Road. And there you have it. There's a few little places that you can go and grab something to eat. You've got Fellini's Pizza, La Fonda, and there's actually good sandwiches over there at that Candler Park market. And the Flying Biscuit, the original one, used to be right there at the corner, but they have since moved. They're right out in Candler Park still, but on DeKalb Avenue. So if you're craving one of those delicious biscuits from Flying Biscuit, don't worry, you don't have to go very far, just go out over on DeKalb Avenue. But you guys, that pretty much wraps up my tour of the Lake Claire neighborhood. What did you think? Yes, no? Let me know in the comments section. Would love to hear from you and where you're watching from. I've helped a lot of viewers just like yourself move here from different states, from anywhere from Florida to California, the Northeast. So hey, if you're thinking about making a move, reach out to me. My contact information is down in that comment section. We can schedule a time to talk about what you're looking for or what I can help you with here in the Atlanta area. But yeah, Lake Claire, super adorable neighborhood. It has all the charm of the old homes that you like mixed in with some new stuff, and at a price point that's not quite as expensive as a little closer into town, and yet you're still very close to all the fun in-town Atlanta things like Piedmont Park, the Beltline. It's not too far away, so this is a great alternative, and it's a kind of a secret neighborhood that some people just skip over and glaze over because they just don't think about it. They think of Virginia Highland, maybe Candler Park, and then they just skip over Lake Claire and then go over to City of Decatur. So sweet neighborhood. If you want more information, like I said, reach out. But you guys, thanks for hanging with me. As always, if you see me out in the wild, make sure you stop and say hello. I'd love to say thank you for watching, but you guys, until next time, I'll see you around the neighborhood.